Dodge, Yahoo, Phantom of the Forest, you Spear, Finger, Fire Dragon, Ohio Grassman, Silver Giant, Bloodless Howler, West Virginia Vampire, Coyote King, Hogzilla, Devil, Dark Coyote Killer. Cave creature, Mothman, Smoke Wolf, a Lizard, Demon, Ashman, Grafton Monster, Cow-killing Bastard, Shadow Creature, Dustman, Cherokee, Death Cat, Wild Man, Great Fire Rape, what else do I have to say? Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber, catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the big feet. Snallygaster, Road Team, Red Island Bear Beast, Silver Giant, Squalling Savage, Black Wolf was kind of average, Stone Giant, Raven, Mocker, Midnight, Whistler, Wampus Beast, Wawa Woman, Ohio Grassman again. Technically Huckleberry, Wolfman, or Wolf County, need to find the X again if we hunt the Lightning Man. Webster's Werewolf, Daily Howl, Kentucky Hellhound, Little Girl, Headless Horror, I can't take it anymore. Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber, catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the big feet.
This here's BIGFEETS, the only Mountain Monsters watch-along podcast. I'm Robert Brockway, and I've got a secret barn where I put foreign objects in husky men, so this episode is a wild coincidence.
And I'm Sean, baby. A heavy object slammed against sheet metal, telling me I had been lucky and had knocked Fish's gun from his hand. I made a single leap to reach him before he could pull a knife or other weapon, and we collided. He went down. I could smell Fish's sweat. It wasn't a clean, honest sweat, like the way my father smelled when he carried doors all day. The sweat was rotten. It was the putrid sweat caused by decay and a cavity in the soul. It was the sweat of corruption.
And I am author and social media influencer Jason Pargin. So, again, listeners, if you don't know, Sean is reading from an amazing book every time he does his intro called The Secret Man by a man named Frank Dukes, D-U-X. And if you want to read the book, too bad. It has been out of print for years. They cost thousands of dollars and also worth it.
Absolutely.
Every line he reads out of that book is spectacular. I can't believe that went out of print.
He uses his ninja senses to discern the morality of sweat. Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
If Frank Dukes wrestles you, once you start sweating, he can tell how evil you are by your scent.
Yeah. That seems like that should have been the concept for one of those 80s cartoons, that just like ill-advised 80s cartoon. He can smell, he has to get you sweaty for some reason to smell whether you're good or evil.
I guess I should point out, listeners, that's a non-fiction book he's reading.
Yes, it is according to him.
A true story.
That is a guy's autobiography. Frank Dukes, the man who wrote the movie Bloodsport or claimed that it was based on his real-life adventures.
I love that he has a
man.
Blofeld, too. He's just got the fish is in every one. There's one guy that he's just...
One chapter is called Fish Again.
Fish again. Fucking fish.
Jesus.
I think you'd learn. All right, we are a Mountain Monsters Watch Along podcast. Before we get to that, anybody got any plugs? How about you, Jason?
I am on YouTube now doing longer form videos because that also apparently is where you find people willing to watch things. My username there is Jason K. Pargin, the same as it is on all of the other mini video platforms.
All right, Sean.
Go to 1-900hotdog.com. It's the last comedy website. We do jokes.
Fantastic plug. I, of course, am legally obligated to promote my book called I Will Kill Your Imaginary Friend for $200. It comes out January 27th, 2026. It's a fun little horror comedy novel that I do not want to go to federal prison for, but I'm gonna if you guys don't buy enough copies. Like, long story short, we don't need to get into it every time. I violated a promotional clause on my contract, and now if I don't sell enough copies to convince the lawyers that was all a promotional bit, I'm going to go to jail. So that's where we're at. Please buy it, because if I go to prison, you better believe Jason and Sean are coming with me. I hit record early on all of these podcasts, and I just record things that they say. Just things that they say. So,
oh, shit.
So if you if you want this podcast to continue and you don't want to see these two beautiful faces right here behind bars, you will buy my book and save this podcast from me. You will save this podcast from me.
I'm not sure you were pointing in the right directions for the way the thumbnails are arranged on the YouTube videos. Did you just force her to have to change where they...
they is over here. I'm just going to point at Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan is coming with me to prison. If you don't buy my book, please save Jackie Chan from federal prison, or I will put him there. Okay, so we are a Mountain Monsters watch-along podcast. That used to be a reality show about hillbillies hunting Bigfoot. Now maybe it's 24? I'm not sure what it is now. This is still sort of the Dark Forest. They said they were going on a season-long arc, and it's the first time they ever did this. No monster of the week, it's all one story. And that was so hilariously beyond the scope of their talents that it ballooned out of control, and it just kind of stopped. And so now we are back. We're watching Mountain Monsters Season 6, Episode 1. That's according to the order I have. We're not doing the whole HBO Max thing, because they don't have all the seasons anyway, and it's not like it matters. It's not like it matters.
Good point.
A couple of things to note here. One, that we're going to find out as we watch this episode in real time. Did they regard the season-long arc as a success? Because obviously if they go back to Monster of the Week, then it's like, okay, they realized we bit off way more than we could chew by orders of magnitude. But then again, this, as I mentioned last time, this is the episode after they came back from a 2-year break on a new network on the Travel Channel to a larger audience. And this will be like the final phase of the show. So did they regard that season-long serialized arc as such a success that it let them graduate to a bigger platform? So we'll see.
Well, I'll spoil a little bit because they come back. We thought the Dark Forest was a fucking mess, but we come back, and I'm just going to spoil it, jump out a little bit. This is still about the Dark Forest. When you come back to the next season, you're like, wait, this episode is called Dark Forest Revealed? They cannot go back and do this again. They're doing it again. They're doing it again. So
we find out immediately that, they're like, hey, we finally stumbled onto the formula. That was perfect, guys.
I think it was Brockway, you discovered something disturbing on their social media recently where they were like kind of indignant about some rude comments, meaning like...
Yeah. You need to go support them. They are not having a good time.
Yeah, we could sort of see behind the curtain that they think they're doing a good job. Like when someone says, hey, This is insane and ridiculous, they're like, well, you just don't get it. You don't understand the complicated storytelling we were doing.
Yeah,
that was kind of a revelation that these guys maintain that kayfabe inside their own souls.
You always wonder, like, are they even a little bit in on it? Like, they got to realize this is pretty goofy what they're doing. No. The answer is a definitive no, because on their new show, Sons of Appalachia, it's a YouTube channel. Go look it up and subscribe to it. We have to support them because apparently they're having a really bad time. All the fans hate it, and they hate their fans. So,
yes, I was really worried I was right about this. Because when they said they're going YouTube, I'm like, I don't think this will hold up to the crucible of public scrutiny. Like... People will be able to point at the bush and say, that's not a Bigfoot, man. That's just, you just walk past the bush.
Read it.
Right, and they'll have to read it. And we were kind of pleasantly surprised. I remember, like, Jason, you were saying how, like, the community seems positive and most of the feedback was positive. But that was just for the idea of the show. Once they're actually filming themselves, like, I found the secret book in the burlap sack. People are like, well, you got that on Amazon. You're an idiot. They're like, delete. Like... Got to protect the secret of our Amazon purchase.
Listeners, if you are going to watch the Sons of Appalachia episodes, don't be jerks in the comments. Because the way they do it, one, they had to turn off the comments of the actual episodes because people were being mean and they couldn't moderate all the comments.
They're on episode 3.
They do separate posts because on YouTube you can do a text post too, like Twitter. Most people don't even know about that feature. And then on there, they will do in a much less visible place, we'll do a comment thread. It's like, all right, let's talk about the most recent episode. And there's always a long message from Bucks saying, look, If you don't have something nice to say, just go watch something else. You don't need to come in here. So if there's any of our fans, if you're going to go watch it, don't be mean to them. That's going to make them stop doing the show, because they're not. They're eventually going to realize the finances don't really work out necessarily for YouTube. So yeah, please be. I'm not saying any of our fans are the ones who are being mean. I think the ones who are being mean are like the true believers who are like, you expect me to believe that's whatever? That's not convincing. Get back to the real stuff.
You have to go support them, because something amazing just happened. Jeff and Willie officially got their own rival show. They broke up into two teams, and we've been theorizing for a while. Are they gonna get rival shows where they hate each other? Jeff and Willie officially got their own rival show on something called Channel 12 TV Network, which isn't how channels work. Never mind. They're getting an official show. The dream is happening. Two rival Mountain Monsters shows from a divided Ames team that hate each other. So this podcast could run for 100 years.
And the stupid rumors that we're splitting up this podcast into a Big and Feet podcast just because there was a screen cap. I did a video at TikTok and my monitor was visible in the background. And I had 50 tabs open where I just searched for the word feet on Google image search. That wasn't for this. I was masturbating to photos of feet. It's stupid what people will take something.
He's taken the Jeff path. This is where he's becoming the PP boy, and we all stop paying attention to him, and then it turns out he owns the trademark to BIGFEETS. We've got to call ourselves something. Me and Sean got to call ourselves something else. The Little Toe Boys or something.
All right.
Little Toe Boys. Okay, so previously on Mountain Monsters, since this is a continuation of there's one continuous story arc, the Ames team met up with the soon-to-be suicidal puzzle master Table Saw, maybe leader of the fourth rogue team. He demanded they go to the Dark Forest and capture the Woman of the Woods, which he would trade them for the location of the Stonish giant's corpse. He's a different Bigfoot that apparently a different rogue team murdered. And that sucks because the Ames team were excited to murder him themselves. So they're mad about that. Anyway, he gave them exact coordinates to start their hunt, and they threw them straight into the trash where they belong, right there. And got distracted by about 6 other monsters who do not matter. At various points, they were hunting the Woman of the Woods, like they were supposed to. Give them that. She's a Blair Witch. The Raven Mocker is a Bigfoot warg. He can morg into ravens. A Wargfoot, if you will. The Black Wolf, who was the Indian Grim Reaper. I guess he's dead now, so all the Indians are immortal or trapped in limbo, depending on your spiritual beliefs. The Huckleberries hunting the Predator from the hit film Predator, of course. We can't forget about that, like they did immediately. In the final episode, they realized there was yet another rogue team of evil Bigfoot hunters. And they were supposed to find the blood skull to get the Woman in the Woods. So Buck and Jeff both decided to find the blood skull without talking to one another. So Jeff decided it's up my nose, and Buck decided it's in like a mossy throne guarded by a spirit Halloween mummy. That was the Woman of the Woods, and that's pretty much where they're at. Buck
you did
ran
miss
away.
The local farmer has an army of mercenaries that.
Yeah, that's the new maybe rogue team.
Oh,
I'm not sure if that's a rogue
That's
team.
Rogue Team 4.
Okay, that's 4.
We can't get confused. There's the original Rogue Team. There's Rogue Team 2. That's the poachers.
Yeah,
then
right.
there's C-Quad. That's the team we're calling Rogue Team 3. That's the Jigsaw that sent them out here.
Okay, so
Rogue Team 4 is the army of mercenaries in this forest hired by the farmer who owns this land.
Right.
To what it sounds like to go after the Woman of the Woods and or one of these other creatures because they were getting into his beans or whatever.
Yeah. The Woman of the Woods comes steals those raspberries at night.
So, with all of that, we come back in. We're going back in the Dark Forest because they ended with Buck running away from the Spirit Halloween mummy, and then he saw Table Saw in his truck just looking real disappointed at him. Like, are you kidding? After all that, you ran. That was the thing you came here to do, and you just ran away. And so he's going to get a talking to, and they just pulled the skull out of Jeff's nose. So now here's where we pick up, because apparently none of those things were wrapped up in any meaningful way. They just kind of stopped doing them. So clearly they need more time to wrap up those specific storylines. The Predator, Blair Witch, Indian Grim Reaper, the other Rogue Team, all of that. They're like, no, we can't leave it like that. We got to come back for a double-length episode. So we're covering part 1 of that here, and we'll cover part 2 of this double-length episode next episode of our podcast. All right, so that's it. Let's get into it. When we
comes
last
in
left
right
Buck,
on
of course,
Jeff getting the blood skull, not the blood skull, a bloody skull that isn't the blood skull pulled from his skull.
He thinks that's the blood skull. So,
Yeah,
okay, what Buck saw out in the woods in the mossy throne with the spirit Halloween mummy was like an actual crafted skull, like something he bought from a Dia de Muertos festival, like a little ceramic skull. When Jeff thinks is the blood skull is something they pretend to pull out of his nose, which is a Hot Topic Jack Skellington earring. It's exactly the size and shape of a Hot Topic Jack Skellington earring. And instead of chastising him for huffing teen girls' hair at the mall again, they decide that this is like some mystical occurrence and we can't believe what happens. Jeff freaks the fuck out and runs out of the Hillbilly surgery shack, and they chase him down, and it's always funny.
It looks like
when
Jason
they do
might
the
have a
foot
note
chase.
too.
It's probably
Mine
the
is-
same note. Go ahead.
I had him, he waddles into the night. Brockway, you said runs, and I think...
I was
I
about
want
to
the
issue a
listeners to-
correction.
Okay.
So go ahead.
My note was, did they film this 2 years later to make it look like it's, because it picks up 1 second later, like they have the flashback and they intercut that footage with the new stuff. Did they, because they are wearing the same clothes. I checked. I did. I paused it to see if it matched, the continuity matched up, and they're wearing the same outfits. And a crude person would say, well, it's because they haven't changed clothes since then.
I'll say that. I'll be the one.
Did they come back and film, or do you think they filmed this right after and it sat on the shelf for a while for some reason? Like, I guess what I'm asking is, have you noticed that they have visibly aged? Because these men do age at a rate faster than
Yes, they age
1 year per
very
year.
rapidly. I have not noticed them aging, so it is possible they filmed at least this bit and then
That's what I think,
interrupted
too.
that.
I think
because I don't think they meant to end the last season like they did. I think a lot of this was supposed to be in the last season. They were like, oh fuck, we fucked up. Look at the camera, it says 45 minutes. There's only 45 minutes. We filled it. We can't fit any of this in there. Because that's how they do everything. They just film until it says 45 minutes, and then they're like, we're done. So they had to come back and finish out this storyline. That's what I think happened. So they just used the rest of that footage, just kept filming, used the rest of that footage. And yeah, Jeff doesn't, it's a mountain monsters foot chase, which means one of them's going to kind of gently waddle out into the night, and they're going to, like, at least Willie and Wild Bill are going to catch him in about 10 feet, and then they're going to run around with their hands by the side of his head like, whoa, I'm having such a hard time catching him, because they don't know how to pretend that he's going fast. And then whoever it is, Buck, Jeff, Huckleberry, will eventually fall down of their own volition. And that's what happens here. And they decide, oh no, Jeff just ran 30 feet. He does need an ambulance. They spot some cars up ahead, and remember, when we left them this hillbilly surgery shack, they even said in the show, this is just somebody's yard. Like, we just came up. This is somebody's shack in the back of behind their house where they keep their lawnmower or whatever. So now they've found some cars, and they're like, well, I'm going to put you in somebody's car on their property. So they start trying.
They're going to leave their mentally ill friend in a car.
Yeah, they're maybe dying.
He's actively bleeding. His nose did not
bleeding.
stop bleeding when they removed the object from it. And in fact, the whole point is it's bleeding more than ever. So the plan is to lay him down in an abandoned vehicle in what looks like a little, they call it a little junkyard, but that's just the way people's yards look in that area.
It's just a
I hope I'm
country
not
yard.
being, and then every single member of the team abandons him there.
Yeah, they decide they have to go look for Buck.
Yeah, they all have. They can't even leave a cameraman behind. They can't even leave a production assistant behind to see if he starts having a seizure, and they need to call, like saying, "Hey, Jeff is freaking passed out. I think he may be having a stroke. We've got to get in. Call 911."
He hasn't peed. This is a real
leave him there.
emergency.
Jeff, to sell how sad this moment is, Jeff does have his own little testimonial camera with him, and he's filming himself bleeding in the back of this car, and the only thing he says is, "I'm sure they'll come back and get me." So elsewhere, Colt Straub comes in. He breaks the fourth wall. He's the producer. He comes in to pretend that he found Buck's camera Buck had on him, just somewhere along the road. Accidentally implying all of this again happens in the same spot. Like, I was just driving down the one road here, found his camera. It's right outside of camp. It's all somebody's backyard. And as if to reinforce that, we show the boys, who all just left Jeff, hiking through the deep brush like they've been doing this for hours. And then they get the news that Colt found Buck's camera, and they decide, oh shit, we have to get over there, see what's on that camera. And Wild Bill points off screen and says, oh, he's over by that gravel road. And then they walk 10 feet to Colt waiting there. He's waiting just off screen like a naked gun joke.
It's amazing.
It's so funny.
He's right over there.
Funny moment here that got me where they have the footage that we already saw on the show of the skull face in the truck. And he's kind of got the theatrics of like a haunted house performer. So he's not looking at the camera. Then it gets close and he's like, snaps to the camera. Like, oh, it's so spooky. And they show this footage to the other guys in the Ames team. And this is such yada yada that like these grown men are just, yeah, okay. So there's the skull guy, sure. But like, I really felt like they were supposed to be like terrified of this footage. But they're like, yeah, okay, skull guy's in his truck. Sure. Keep moving. Keep. You want to fast forward this part? Very funny to me.
It does not scan to them at all.
Also, a footnote for the listeners for the next few minutes. An important thing you need to note for what Sean's about to say is that in the 90s, the basketball player Shaquille O'Neal used to have the nickname Diesel and used to call him he called himself that. So it's going to become relevant in a moment.
Okay, so they watch the tape. And they realize, okay, that did nothing. We still got to go find Buck. So they go back on the search for Buck. Meanwhile, Jeff is on his lonely nerd cam, and he hears Sean.
He hears something. He says, it's a diesel, something big. Now, I think a lot of us would have thought, well, those are the signs of a truck. But Jeff, remember, this is a few years ago. Jeff knows that's very likely a Shaquille O'Neal.
I'm sorry. We were looking for a diesel coming. We were looking for very specifically a diesel coming.
I didn't want to get painted into a box. That was me trying to dance my way out of it. You're right. He heard a diesel coming.
So he hears a diesel coming, and he radios the boys, who have to abandon their search again for the second time. They have to abandon their search for Buck.
All of them have to abandon their search. Again, they're trying to find Buck because they think he may be dying out there. They hear from Jeff, so that all of them abandon Buck to go check on Jeff's thing. Because again, the one thing we know about this team is you cannot split them up as some part of a strategy where one side goes here. That's unthinkable. They operate as one unit at all times.
I thought this was funny because they had no reason to abandon the Buck search yet, because as far as they could tell, it's just a truck. Or, of course, Shaq coming all over Jeff. Either way, it's not an emergency. Stick to the plan.
You were in somebody's yard. You're in his car.
Somebody coming. Is there an old man dying in that vehicle? Do I need to call somebody?
Guys, I hear a truck. Abandoned Buck. I think it might be a nearby car.
So we go back to Jeff. He sees the source of the engine noise. Of course, it is an ejaculating Shaquille O'Neal. No, it's a bulldozer coming towards the car. And, I know this is a piece of shit abandoned car they found in the woods somewhere, but it's still pretty incredible for them. They do the whole, they start destroying the car, I'm trapped in bit, complete with camera footage from inside that's, pretending to, it's just a camera taped to, an A-pillar or something. But they're pretending like it's Jeff filming it as this bulldozer legitimately does smash the car, mashes the windshield. It must have cost them $800.
You think they thought of that? I thought they just smashed a car with Jeff in it.
The camera never moves. The camera never moves. It could be Jeff. He never moves. You're right. There's no way to tell.
There's
Jeff's no way to discern between Jeff and an A-pillar. You just cannot discern between those. They're both A-shaped. It's impossible. So it's mashing the windshield. It's legitimately, you're like, wow, this is actually, it's something. Mm-hmm. This is something. But you had to rent.
it's not like a Michael Bay movie, but there was expense here. I realize it's a junk car, but the setup and everything, and then what's about to occur. No, this would have been an entire season's worth of budget 2 seasons ago to do this sequence. There's a bunch of people involved here.
I would argue that the actual like editing for these 2 shots is actually done somewhat competently, because they cut from the footage inside of the camera, like watching the front of this bulldozer come down and crush the windshield, and then they cut to like exterior footage of the car being like just demolished.
Of the cameraman watching the principal cast member die.
Yes. But it's still like, oh, okay, you're actually showing us both. Like, that's interesting. It's kind of exciting to see quick cut inside to outside. It's filmmaking 101, but I would not have expected this from them.
No, this is a different team than cut the stuff we were watching 3 seasons ago. I'm sorry. Like, when they try to do an action sequence, we were always impressed when, like, the shots kind of implied the geography of where everyone is. It's like, well, that's new. It kind of shows where people are.
It's fucking wide. Look how far we've come.
But like now, they're going to get Jeff inside the mashed up. Once it's upside down and crashed, they are going to get him inside there and drag him out. Like, so they've had to arrange. It's a whole thing. It's a level of production that when I saw it, this is when I was talking about the last episode, that I almost was kind of nervous that the show had gotten too competent. Now, it's still the same people involved, but anyway,
let's not worry about that, because we do not address that Jeff is in this car voluntarily the whole time, and he could just, it's not stuck. He doesn't go, the doors are stuck, or this is an old police car, it doesn't open from the inside. He's in the car of his own volition, and he just he chooses not to get out as it's crushed.
He had time to call for help, figure out that Shaquille O'Neal was unzipping his pants, and he just stayed there.
They did the whole, like, oh no, I'm trapped in a car that's being destroyed thing, but they forgot to do the trapped part.
Yes.
So, like, let's not worry too much.
They did think about the escape, though, because they realized you can't escape on a bulldozer. So the bulldozer murderer, like, left the murder weapon and got in a side-by-side and took off.
For a Forrest golf cart. You can escape in a Forrest golf cart.
Yeah.
I gotta leave this slow-ass vehicle behind. This silly novelty vehicle. I'm gonna flee in the Forrest golf cart instead.
And no one pursues.
No one even tries to pursue.
Like, now he's out of the story.
So they've got this.
Here's the thing: it's like there's nature documentary rules to this type of thing, but I do feel like later in a production meeting, they probably said, "Why did you stand there and film the bulldozer crushing Jeff? Like, why didn't you or the sound guy run over to the bulldozer guy and say, 'Stop! There's someone inside,' or 'We've got to fight you. You can't murder.' I know I have a job to do to film this, but I do think we should stop a murder." It would be very easy to stop. All I have to do is like get your hand off the steering wheel. Just
open the door.
Or just
Jeff,
open the door and pull Jeff
okay.
out. Yeah, there's a lot of ways he could have handled it.
But they do set up what is a genuinely interesting, tense moment with like a reasonably high budget for them. And then Jeff blows it all when they run up to him, and it's Jeff's time to like shine and sell this. And Jeff goes, "Oh, I'm all fucked up. I'm crushed. Oh, man, this is bad. Oh, I'm hurting." That's how he sells. I'm just
one of his lines. He
crushed.
Goes, "Man, that guy tossed me around like I was nothing." just this malaise. Just this crushing ennui.
Looks like I'm crushed. Oh, I don't enjoy that.
No crushed, like physically crushed, Jeff. Yeah, no, I get it. like the weight of existence is bearing down upon me. I got it, guys. Let's roll.
Huckleberry calls the police, which is, again, I love that they realize they have this move. Like, I know it's like part of their fiction. They've called the police now, and once they've opened that can, they've broken that seal. They're like, we're just gonna call the cops all the time, because it's the same guy. Yeah. It's the same cop that answers. And I know they just have one cop that's a fan and is willing to do this for relatively cheap. I love the accidental implication that there's one police officer they've assigned to just deal with all Ames-related calls. And he's just like, I'm so fucking sick of it.
It's his jurisdiction as the Dark Forest. It's the shittiest job on the force.
He's the Dark Forest cop.
This is too late to give them this note.
He's the park ranger for the Dark Forest.
Maybe, Jason, you could try to get this note through time. It's a big note. They do know a Bigfoot that can jump through vans. I feel like if they would have called him rather than the cops, that could have been really cool. If they would have befriended that Bigfoot who jumped through the van to get Jeff out.
How are we going to get him out?
It's going to sound crazy, but remember my Uncle Willie's van? We turned into a trap. And Bigfoot jumped out the top. Was it Uncle Billy Bubba? I can't remember his uncle's name.
Uncle Leo?
Uncle Leroy, I think.
Uncle Leroy.
We're making fun of the fact that they only know the one cop, but then the entire fire department of the tri-state area shows up here. It's a bunch of people. It's a bunch of vehicles. It is a whole thing.
And again, like, this is what I think happened. I won't know until I watch the rest of the season. I haven't watched beyond this episode. Wait, no, I'm watching it live. No, I haven't watched beyond this episode. My suspicion is they've blown the entire season's budget on this. Like, I think they fucked up.
It could have been a training mission. Like, Colt might know a guy in search and rescue, and he's like, hey, you want to come out, get some of the rookies to test the jaws of life?
They do actually use the jaws of life, like, not a special effect. They use that to pull apart the car.
With an old man inside there. And they also do, like, they all stay in character. At one point they ask him, now, do you know where you're at? And Jeff says, not really. And now the firefighter does not reply with, you're in the mystical dark forest.
Oh no, I'm still there.
A cowardly choice by the producers.
But they do all play it like, hey, this guy's been the victim of a crime. Let's get him out of here. He's really hurt.
There was a moment where they tell Jeff to keep talking, and Jeff responds by saying, there's glass. Lots of glass.
And in another performance that ruins everything, when they're fucking jaws of lifing him out of that car, he decides to sell the whole thing like goldfish are nibbling on his balls at a spa. He's going, oh.
Yeah, you're right. There was like 5 O's after the thing I said.
Did you say like goldfish are nibbling on his balls at the spa?
Yeah, at the spa.
Brockway luxuriates on the weekend. They
do that at the spa, right? The guy told me that's normal. That can't be just me. Yeah, get the goldfish treatment. Ask him for the goldfish treatment next time. Tell him Brockway sent you. It's wonderful.
Does anyone have this as the quote what Willie says when he's like warning the firemen of what they're about to deal with?
No.
Because I don't want to steal anyone's quote of the episode, but Willie does say he's not a super thin boy either. He's got a full-size figure. Like, a nice way of putting it. It's just warning the firemen.
Like, if you were fitting him for a corset.
I see how much the car's been smashed. You're probably picturing a very flat man. No.
Also, in front of with the cop standing right there, Wild Bill saying, we're going to get the scum lowlifes that did this to him. We're going to get them scum faces. It's like,
we're going to murder those men.
I loved that.
The cops are right there. You can give a statement to them about the fact that a guy did, this is a crime. Like, you realize it's not legal to try to crush an elderly man in a car.
There's also been a kidnapping, some extortion, some surveillance, a lot of stalking, wolf hunting without a permit. There's a lot of stuff they could tell these cops about while they're here.
So now that they have Jeff out and on the gurney, the firefighters ask, is there anything anybody wants to say to him before we take him to the hospital? Like, that's the tradition. You know how they do that every time. Yeah. Like, they load you up and then they say, who wants to say something to the guest of honor here? Do you want to make a wish before we go? And they did not get the ambulance in the package. They got all the firefighters. The ambulance didn't come, so they just load them up in the back of the firefighting pickup truck and take them away.
This is very, very funny because you can detect that either they thought there was going to be an ambulance or they weren't able to get it or they didn't plan for this part because the pickup truck to put him into does not have room for a man on a stretcher in the back. So the guy lay the tailgate down and kind of just scoot him up, and then 2 guys have to like stay on the side of him to like hold him down so he doesn't tip out as they pull away, and they just kind of gently pull off into the woods. Because you have to imagine this thing going out onto the highway to the nearest hospital.
Jeff just flapping.
Going 65 miles an hour with this elderly man in the bed, just the wind whipping him around and blowing tubes out of his nose and everything.
Screaming the whole time.
But again, You have the option of just not showing it. Just
Yeah, you didn't
just
have to
like
show that.
say, yeah,
Could've
they're
cut
getting them
that.
into the ambulance off screen. You know, it's they're over there. Okay. We're gonna go see. We're gonna look after
really-
the buck while they do that. No, show it all.
So they go back to trying to track Buck, and they follow his trail, which they emphasize is very easy for some reason. Just to look, spot it real easy coming through here. It's almost too easy to track a man like Buck for some reason. They spot a light in the forest and they sneak up on it. And Willie turns it into a stealth mission, which is like the third time he's done that through this story arc. So I think Willie's trying for that. I think he's trying to be their solid snake, because now he's not the trap guy, right? They built one trap, which was a canvas labyrinth to trick the Grim Reaper of the Indians, and they just went, never mind. Like, there was no reason that didn't work. They just forgot about it.
They never
so I
even
think
checked it to see if there was something else in there.
It might have worked. Who knows? Who knows?
Could be in there right now.
Maybe that's what happened to the Black Wolf. He's just dying in there slowly, starving to death without eating any Indian souls.
27 dead Native Americans with him, just like, when are we getting to our afterlife, Wolf? It's like, I can't
don't
get my
know.
paw out of this second snare. I didn't know there's a fucking maze in the middle of this place.
Look, if you know your way
bullshit.
out of this maze, you say something, and them all being like, yeah, there's only 2 turns. This is like...
It's made of canvas.
So they sneak up on the light, and they find Buck once again Q posing. This time in a plus size man trap. They've built a special plus size shark cage in the middle of the woods.
The only thing it says in my notes is, this looks stupid as shit. Like like whatever they're going for, it is just, it looks like an error. It looks like something went terribly wrong in somebody's first video game.
First of all, they did a thing where the bars are very, very far apart.
Yeah.
Like, they were rudely pointing out that any normal-sized adult could easily step through the bars of this thing, that, oh, this will hold Buck. Like, the show is making that joke that I don't approve of.
Bastards.
But
Monsters.
otherwise, it looks like one of those stripper cage things.
Yeah, it's a go-go
Yep.
dancer cage
Go-go
built
Buck.
specifically for Buck. And you can already tell he's supposed to be hypnotized. He's doing his cursed face, which is like, I smell something a little bit weird. I'm going to look around like royalty, smelling something strange. That's his cursed face. You just know there are some golden delicious apples in that thing. Like, you know that's how they got him in there. And then welded him in there while he ate every single one. Because there is no door. They act like it's this huge mystery. Like, Buck, there's no door. How did you get in there? And then Willie bends down and he kicks one of the bars loose. And Buck crawls out like, oh, okay. I guess that's how you got in there. Maybe that's a clue. So they get him out and they take Buck back to his truck. He's doing the cursed acting the whole time. And they drive away. And we cut to black text saying, it has been a year and a half since the Ames team was in the Dark Forest. Since then, several team members have refused to discuss what happened. This
Several
is their
is a big
show.
number. Right. Several implies 4 at least, but there's only 5 people on the team.
None of them are talking. None of them talking. We're never going to. Okay, first of all, it was all on film, so you don't have to discuss what happened. Like, maybe Buck, how'd you get in that cage? But we answered that mystery.
Yeah. He got hypnotized by Skullface.
Unless they're saying Buck counts as several members of the team, which again is a joke I don't approve
very
of.
nice.
No,
I don't
no.
think that's nice of them.
So here's the question I think is on all of the listeners' minds. Why was this failure traumatizing to the team beyond all of their other, because this is the 50th episode that all that stuff happened in, or this is episode 51 that we're doing right now. Like, they've had multiple episodes where members got mind controlled. They've had multiple episodes where guys had to go to the hospital after having gotten injured. They've had every episode where they failed to catch any of the monsters they came to get. So the only difference with this story arc is that at the end of it, instead of huddling together and pretending like this is what they wanted to happen all along, they acknowledged their failure. It's like all that happened was self-awareness.
Yeah. They've been running for it the whole time. It finally caught them.
That's the greatest monster. That's the greatest monster of all. Is self-awareness. So Huckleberry is driving along. He's telling us he's going to meet with Buck for the first time in 18 months, and he's recapping the whole situation. Like, I don't know, like maybe this was supposed to be a different season and not the middle of an episode, and they fucked up the timing somehow. That's weird. Who knows if that's what happened? But then they pull alongside each other in their pickup trucks, which is a very strange choice. And Huckleberry says, "Ain't you gonna get out and shake my hand, Buck?" And Buck says, "I don't get out of my truck in the woods anymore." And he goes on to explain.
Why did they meet in the woods then? They could have.
First of all,
they could have gone to a coffee shop or any of the historical, like, Bigfoot molesting landmarks in Huckleberry's backyard. They have locations.
Buck says he doesn't feel safe. It's not his safe space anymore. He says he had to quit his job, so the best French restaurant in West Virginia is missing its maitre d'. He also says he might be quitting the Ames team, all because the responsibility of being the new trapper, he just realized it's too much for him. So that this is the official moment. They've never said specifically, Buck's the leader now, guys. He's the new trapper.
I do want to remind everyone that what happened was a guy drove up, got into Buck's truck with a spooky Halloween mask and said, "Get in the truck," and then hypnotized him and put him in a cage, seemingly just because he could. We'll find out later that he handed him a clue. He's like, "Hey, you dumb hypnotized idiot. Here's a clue. I'm going to put a camera in your hand. Don't lose the camera, you dumb idiot." And he lost the camera because he's a dumb idiot. I'm just saying it's hard to fail harder at any of these decisions.
But that's not what Buck's reflecting on. He's not reflecting on how bad of a job he's done in Trapper's stead. He's reflecting on what a toll it's taking on him.
Yeah.
What a psychic toll it's taken.
Yeah, it blows right through video game time, being the leader. So they head out together to meet up with Trapper. Speaking of, and Trapper's been out with health problems, obviously. In reality, he did get very, very sick, and he can't play Bigfoot anymore, and it's heartbreaking. And so they come in, they see him.
This is weirdly, sincerely sad. Like, this is hospice talk. Okay. These are like old friends saying goodbye to a guy who knows he's going to die, and they're doing like "you'll get through it, you're a tough bastard," and it's just like, it's too much. They should have cut this. This was way too sad.
All right, I want to talk about this. The timing of this aired in summer 2019. Trapper in real life would pass in December of that year. This is filmed ahead of time, so they're probably talking to him 8 or 9 months before he would pass away in real life. But, so they go to talk to him. Obviously, he's in rough shape. Like, the viewers at the time knew he had, like, it was documented that he had health problems. You know, they go on their Facebook pages and say, "Trapper, we're wishing you the best," and all that. But when Trapper starts talking to them and he explains, he's like, "Yeah, I went to the hospital for a couple of weeks. They thought I was going to die then. My blood test says my kidneys are only operating at 25%. He's like, I'm dying. It's like, I'm not going to be one of those people who lives in denial. I'm dying. I realize that I have not very much time left." And then, as you said, Huckleberry's like, "Well, Trapper, you're a tough old bastard. You're going to make it through." But then in the very next breath, Trapper says, "So, Buck, you've got to get to the bottom of this dark forest. You got to get out there." So my question is, the people who watched this when it aired, obviously they knew that Trapper was in a health state that he couldn't go out and play Bigfoot anymore. But the part about how his kidneys were shutting down, did they think that was part of the dark forest storyline? And that this season was going to be about finding the amulet and bringing it back to Trapper. And he's like, "Well, guys, I'm still not real mobile, but the doctors say my kidneys are back to 100%. They said it's a medical miracle ever since that Native American, you gave me the blood skull. You brought that blood skull back.
The foot of the black wolf.
Because he does go right from last sentence, "I'm dying."
Yep.
Next sentence, "So you've got to get back out there in the haunted dark forest and solve the mystery of these mystical creatures." Did they think, not knowing that his death was around the corner, did they think that was just part of the kayfabe? Because these guys don't break character ever.
Such a pro. It's such a pro to actually to legitimately come on TV and be like, Guys, I have to face my own mortality here. I'm not going to get better. I am going to die. So let's get out there and get that Bigfoot. It's incredible what he gave to this show.
Because I'm not going to do that. If I get like a terminal diagnosis, I am going to make so many videos just crying into the camera about how I don't want to die and begging people to send me money. I am not going to
Send me
stay in
kidneys.
character.
What are you doing?
I am
I'm
not
going to give
going to.
everybody missions. I'm going to be just like Trapper.
If I come on a podcast and people are making jokes, I'm immediately going to be like, why are you making jokes? I am going to die. Do you understand? I have a tumor. This is not funny. Everything, all joy is going to go out of my presence. I will be wall to wall cancer 24/7. That's all I'm going to talk about. So the fact that he stayed in Bigfoot mode, I legitimately love this. I do admire Trapper. This whole thing. Do you understand? Okay, I know that this episode is already running long, but do you understand? They sold this show to a travel cable channel by clearly pitching it as they sold it to an obscure cable channel called Destination America, which was about travel, about seeing the different parts of America. They clearly sold it under the umbrella of See Appalachia. See the region. We're going to use the Bigfoot stuff as a framing device to see the culture. We're going to talk to these witnesses. You're going to meet a tons of cool people. You're going to learn about the area through the Bigfoot lore, which is an important part of, I can imagine what the pitch doc for the show looked like. Now look at where the show is now. They're not traveling anywhere. Whole season, one spot, a guy's yard. They are not learning anything about Appalachia. They are not learning anything about the actual lore of the region. They are making up a fake rival Bigfoot hunting teams and also the Predator from the hit film Predator. There is nothing left of this show that has anything remotely related to the mission statement of Destination America or the travel channel that they're folded into now. And this freaking thing ran for a decade. This man's a hero. He is what everything that America stands for.
He's a miracle.
So I'm dying, and I'm going to need you to hunt the Predator from the hit film Predator.
That's damn right.
God damn professional. That is what a professional looks like. And okay, so Trapper tells Buck he needs to figure out what happened to him in the dark forest, and Buck says he doesn't know. Huckleberry says, I have an idea. I think it'll help Buck. It's a little outside the box. But you know me, I'm a hillbilly wizard. First time you said that, that's an interesting thing to say.
Do you have the rest of that quote? Because it gets weirder. He says,
"Go ahead."
He says, "We don't think inside the box." He's speaking about hillbilly wizards, of course. And then he stops, and he's like, "That needs a button on it." So he says, "We play a banjo on top of it." So I think it got away from him, but I do like the image of it, of a hillbilly wizard who uses a banjo instead of a staff. I also like that his idea of hillbilly is like he's been watching Looney Tunes or I don't know, what he's never played a banjo. I don't know where that came from.
We've said this again and again.
You know he thinks there's an actual box, right?
Yes.
These men routinely sound like they've never actually been to Appalachia.
Yeah.
They rely on the same stereotypes. If you just found a bunch of people from LA and told them to make a fake Bigfoot hunting show in Appalachia, it would be exactly this. They'd be like, I'm going to put on my overalls with no shirt on. And I'm going to grow a big old bushy beard. I'm missing all my teeth. It's like, it just
play the banjo.
Yeah, I'm playing my banjo. I'm a hillbilly
I make
banjo
moonshine
wizard.
Of course. He's a hillbilly wizard.
We got to find out all of these guys are just Broadway performers, and they just
yeah, it might as well be. So Huckleberry and Buck drive out to the woods, and they find this. They drive out to a crazy plywood shack, and out comes what looks like a Dollar General Sam Elliott, which is actually a Chris Christopherson. It's a Chris Christopherson, is what that is. And Huckleberry tells us, well, that's my buddy Alan, and he's a hillbilly hypnotist. That's the scariest thing you can add after the word hillbilly.
I don't like that at all.
In fact, Huckleberry is saying this. He is wearing overalls and absolutely nothing else, which is going to become his outfit, spoiler, for the rest of the season.
Yeah. He's trying to impress Alan. He's like, I'm going to get dressed up for Alan.
It's overalls, otherwise fully nude. If a man wearing overalls who was otherwise fully nude says, and he takes you to a second location, it says, I'm going to take you to my friend Alan. He is a hillbilly hypnotist. If you find yourself in that situation, there are no actions you can take. You're already dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you screwed up earlier.
You want to die
over.
in a way that leaves an ugly corpse, and they're still gonna have sex with that corpse. You just want them to not enjoy it as much. Like that's your best move.
Yeah,
right
you
then.
want one of those. You want to be the subject of one of those crimes where the cops just choose not to investigate it.
I lost the file, man.
It's just the worst
gross
thing.
file.
The worst thing you can add after hillbilly. Like he's a hillbilly. Anything is better than hypnotist.
It sounds like a euphemism for just the most
Gynecologist?
unspeakable crime. Something that you just
Gynecologist
can't
is
say
better.
out loud.
Alan is an actor. Alan is trying so hard here. It's crazy when they get an actual actor in to start delivering lines like he's in a community theater production. He's like, now, what you got inside you? It's like a jar of fireflies. And we're just going to unscrew the lid.
That lid, baby.
Let
Time's
those
a flat
babies
circle.
go.
And Buck tried to
He's
kind of
doing a
match
little
that acting
McConaughey.
energy. And he's like, but he makes the acting choice that like every memory hurts. He's like, I'm going left now. It's
Giving birth to each memory.
When you go and watch the failed Mountain Monster spinoffs that Cold Straub tried to do, like Alaska Monsters and UFO Cowboys, that's the kind of performance you get all around.
Yeah,
because those shows that came after, they recruited actors, and it's not the same. And they try to do that thing where they really play up the big moments. And
is this the birth of that? Because this guy is kind of a hunk. When Alan came out, I'm like, this guy's way too handsome to be on. Mountain
you could
Monsters.
tell. They
Cold
cast him,
Straub's like dollar signs.
Yeah, this is where he realized that dream where he's like, oh my God, what if they were all hunks?
Right.
Yes.
And in fact, you guys commented earlier about how when they try to do an action scene where they have to like wrestle Jeff to the ground, how they have to be like gentle with him. When they do like the nude wrestling for the UFO Cowboys, and they're all like stunt performers, they like grab this fully nude man and just slam him to the rocks.
I remember
like it
that.
is. Yeah.
They were going
No
way
compromises.
Yeah.
So he hypnotizes Buck, and Buck remembers, all of his experience. Buck says Table Saw gave him a different camera and told him to record, and then they walked through the woods to an old bridge and to a big barn, which he recognized from the night he lost Liam the cameraman. So that's where he was. That time he just disappeared in the dark forest for a long time. And in it was a projector that showed a film of somebody shoving that Hot Topic earring up Jeff's nose while he was strung up upside down like a hog. They specifically say, like a hog, so that Jeff doesn't have any dignity in the victim scenario. So now they're hoping to find that camera because they think if they find the camera, they can watch the footage, which will lead them to the barn, which will lead them to that film that they can watch.
Okay, maybe my brain rejected that, but I thought there was a second camera. Like they were looking for one camera, but to find the first camera, they had to go to the barn and find the footage from the other camera. Are you just to be clear, there's just one camera?
Okay. I can see why you're confused. Under hypnosis, under hillbilly hypnosis,
Okay.
Buck remembered that when he was hypnotized a year and a half ago, he was taken to a location where he was made to watch a film.
Right.
But in the course... I'm sorry, let me back up. A year and a half ago, under hypnosis, Buck remembered that a year and a half ago, he was hypnotized. As soon as they hypnotized him, they told him to put down the productions camera, which he did, because that was the last shot of the final season. He put it down so you could see the truck drive away.
That's what Cold Straub found.
That's the camera that Cold Straub found earlier in this episode. They then gave Buck a smaller camera to film himself going out to a barn where he watched, with that camera, he watched a film projected onto a sheet That's the film he's remembering now under hypnosis, that he had a camera that he filmed himself watching video that was recorded probably with a different camera, maybe the same one. Now, here's the important part. Jigsaw, the puzzle master, welded Buck into a cage and put that camera in his hand.
Right.
So that when he woke up, he would say, oh my gosh, guys, I woke up with this camera in my hand. Let's watch this. And then that video would show them, go, here's the location where you need to find the thing. It's no puzzle this time. This camera just shows you where the stuff is. We have a presentation prepared for you. Spoiler, it's go. Buck woke up, put the camera down on the floor of the cage, and they all left.
For a year and a half.
For a year and a half. I think it spikes my microphone when I get that angry. For a year and a half, they just now, under hillbilly hypnosis, it required a year and a half and a hillbilly hypnosis session for Buck to remember, oh, right, when I woke up in that cage, I had a camera in my hand and I just dropped it on the floor. And nobody else there, not me, not any other members of the Ames team, not nobody on the production crew, noticed that I had a camera in my hand. Or after we went home, went over there and looked around to see if maybe there was some interesting stuff around that cage. Or, hey, you know what? We could have just loaded up that cage and took it home to examine it. They didn't leave the dark forest in a hurry. Jeff was loaded into an ambulance, but the rest of them just left on their own volition. Hopefully they went and took down that trap they made for the Black Wolf. They built a freaking log cabin out there without permission. Like, they had stuff out there. They gathered up their production crap, right? Like, they didn't run from the dark forest. They left on their own accord, on their own schedule. They didn't go glance at that cage. I'm not asking them to dust it for DNA, but the camera was lying on the floor of the cage where Buck dropped it from his hand. That is the plot. That's the inciting incident that is driving this season-long arc, is trying to retrieve the camera that the puzzle master tied to his hand so that he could not possibly not find it. In their own lore, this is what's happening.
And remember, they're looking for the camera so that they can go look for the barn.
Right.
But Buck specifically said, we know where he got in. We found his camera from when he got into the truck with Table Saw the Puzzle Master. He said, we didn't drive that far. We crossed a bridge over a creek and there was the barn. So look for the barn. Like, you just drive down the road until you see a bridge and a creek.
Yep.
And there's the barn.
Or just a creek.
Like, no.
Follow the creek until you find a bridge.
Or go on Google Earth. This is 2019 when this takes place. This is not 1989. Go on Google Earth. Like, well, this is in their own lore. This is a tiny patch of land. Like, in their own lore, the way they described it, it's a tiny patch of land. It's like, okay, well, here's where we put our thing. Here's where our camp. So if there's just this one stream, here's the one road.
You remember they did that stealth mission to break into that room with all the pictures of the skulls, and on that table in there was the secret map of the dark forest. They presumably took pictures of that, or they could just watch their own TV show to get pictures of that if they needed.
They could watch their own TV show. Yeah, the 4K video they have of every inch of that room that their own production team has.
You can't break the seal on Google Earth, because then it's like, why don't they just look for Bigfoot on Google Earth?
Yep.
Just zoom all the way in.
God, but these guys, because they run into Bigfoot everywhere. If they had Google Earth and were zooming in, it would just be, they would see him everywhere. It would be so frustrating.
Just lousy with big feet. So they have to go on this mission to find the camera for very stupid reasons. They meet up with the rest of the crew, and Huckleberry says, it's been a year and a half since we've been together as a team. Since we weren't filming this show, of course, we're not hunting monsters. So we all just took time off. We let everybody die in that dark forest. It's fine. Jeff says he's all better now after being voluntarily crushed in a car, but he did have a concussion. And then he explains, but I didn't go to a hospital. How do you know you had the concussion there, buddy? That's a weird thing to self-diagnose. And
Also,
Huckleberry,
they boast that he did not talk to the cops.
that he didn't tell the cops shit. Why? It wasn't a crime.
So they can
I mean, I
get
guess there
vengeance
was minor crimes.
themselves.
Also, it would have been really funny if you told the cops, like, we were out hunting the Predator from the hit film Predator, and I got trapped in that car, and I forgot I could open the doors. Like, it's very possible that guy just planned to, like, destroy that car, because it was his car, again. And he must have assumed once he started crushing it, if anybody's in there, they'll get out. But I didn't. I did not.
Also, I do guess some listeners are probably wondering, in the fiction of the show, what was the Bulldozer guy trying to do? Like, one, how did he predict that they would dump Jeff inside this abandoned vehicle, or did he improvise that plan on the fly? Because Jeff was
Ran
only
off
in
and
there.
rented a bulldozer.
Canonically, Jeff was only in there for like 5 minutes. They walked away, and immediately he hears an engine coming. So they just improvise, like they're spying on them, and it's like, oh, they've put Jeff in that vehicle. Let's go crush it. Let's go razz him. Let's go
like
rib him a little bit.
This is the second time people have been trying to kill Jeff without any explanation. Because remember they did that Indiana Jones scene where he's like running from the entire mob and they get the fastest truck and meet me in the field. And he's just running from an army of bad guys. And they never explained that either. Like later, that no one said, hey, Jeff, why did everyone try to kill you? I think it's just a normal thing. If Jeff goes out for like a coffee, like
You gotta accept
the clerk
certain,
tries to
like,
kill Jeff.
Yeah, certain world building, certain parts of this world are just like established and given
Yep.
now, and it's like, okay, you're gonna want to kill Jeff if he comes into your field of vision. Like you are overcome with a bloodlust that says attack. So that's all the amount of times they've just cut footage of Jeff running over like a potato field and then a crowd of angry people just running over the hill behind him. They just have to cut that shit all the time. So now they're out to find this barn. They're all together, and we cut to the next day. Everything is set for their return to the dark forest. This whole thing, it's weird. We haven't mentioned all the stuff that's in the dark forest that we didn't resolve. They haven't talked about the Raven Mocker, the Woman of the Woods, the Stonish Giant,
Honestly,
the Black Wolf.
It feels like these guys are real rusty. Like it's been a year and a half. There's a spot they do where Wild Bill's trying to say he went to see a hillbilly hypnopotamus. And he does this little smirk, and they do like a musical honk sting. It's like the mask is completely slipped. Like you can see him performing. Like I'm the dumb hillbilly. Like if you really thought these men were fighting Bigfoot, like this would be like a 6-year-old seeing Hulk Hogan whisper a spot. Like it's just you can tell it's a performance, and I don't know.
He acts like he had never heard the word hypnotist before.
Yeah.
As if that's a science word that us hillbillies don't know, when the other part of the lore that we just had 1 minute ago is that there's a special type of hillbilly hypnosis that we in the mountains know,
Yeah.
And it's done by hunks. You would remember Alan, baby.
Yeah, you just get rubbed by a hunk.
There is
not
one
so bad.
good bit here where once they decide, because again, they are going to get together and decide from this meeting, time to go back to the dark forest. That's right, bitch. We're going back. It's 2 years.
But specifically, they don't mention any of the things they forgot to wrap up. All of the questions that you're like, what are you going to do about the fucking predator? He's running around the dark forest, just he's not killing people. I don't know what he's doing. He's jacking off outside your shed. We don't know. Leaving green goo on leaves.
But also there's a bit where Buck tells Huckleberry, but before we go, on one condition, you've got to put on a shirt. And there's a little bit, they don't acknowledge it, where they just cut to them in the vehicle. He is not wearing a shirt at all.
Nice.
Very distracting.
Condition not met. Negotiations did not go well. Okay, so now what they're acting like is we need to find the answers, but the answers are just who put that Hot Topic earring up Jeff's nose and who put Buck in a cage. It was none of the plot lines they set up during the whole last season. That's all this. That's all like this episode, this season.
And we make fun of this show for having too many enemies, but it's probably one of the rogue teams. Like, I don't think they're not going to introduce a whole new thing that put a thing in people's nose, right?
Okay. So
Like, you could just narrow it down. Is all I'm saying. Like, you're like, who did this? And you're like, it's one of a
Bigfoot.
few
It's
people.
Bigfoot.
It's
Just say it's
probably one of
Bigfoot.
the Bigfoots, man. Like,
just say it's Bigfoot. Good.
like,
So
just put yourself in the future a day when you know this information. What now? Like, did it advance anything in any way, or do you just like, oh, now fucking we gotta, I guess, go get revenge for the Hot Topic hearing? Like, what's the next move after you know who did it? Because we kind of know who did it. Dickheads.
And also, why are you so mad about it? It's just, it's like, it's the size of a pencil eraser. If somebody put that up my nose, I'd blow my nose and be like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, also, the question is not who did it, so we can get back at them. It's, well, what was the ritualistic? Did this cast, is it a cursed artifact? Did it mind control him? Like, there had to be a reason they did it. They talk about it like it was a prank.
Right.
Like they had him upside down. They were using, it was like they had a black powder rifle poking with a rod, poking a thing up his nose. I can't believe they would do that to a man. It's like, yeah, okay, but I agree that's not a good thing to do to a person, but also you would want to know why. Like there was
They've
something
never
to
asked
it.
why. They've never asked why. Not once have they asked why. So they're heading back to the dark forest, and Buck thinks they're being followed by a red SUV. And Wild Bill chimes in, I've been noticed. Back to her, too.
This is weird because they start doing a text on screen thing that makes it look like a true crime documentary, which says 12:47 p.m. Team leaves for Lee County, West Virginia, or Lee County, Virginia, and it just shows them like setting up their cameras. It's like a found footage movie. It's like, hey, they're like clowning, like screwing around, getting the cameras, the GoPro set up on the vehicle. 2:40 p.m. Team is on the road to Lee County, Virginia. They cut in on Buck, and ever since Sean pointed out that you can see a mile away when they've been asked to like improv like you're in the middle of a conversation, because so that they'll be shocked when the scary thing happens, because they do not know what to say. And so it's literally Buck like, man, it sure is a long drive down here, isn't it, Huckleberry? Yes, sir, it sure is. Wait a second. There's somebody behind us. Because in their fiction, they had been in the vehicle for 3 hours. With the timestamps, they're saying that the drive from where they live to the dark forest is 6 hours. They leave at 12:47. They're going to get there right before 7 p.m. If that's a 12-hour round trip, that actually screws up some other parts of their storytelling, right? Like last episode, didn't Buck at one point have to leave to go back home and then come back because he went to the Shame Shack, which is near where they live, and then that's an entire day anyway. So yeah, it's very awkward that you can see them like doing the thing, like because to be frank, if you put a camera in the vehicle with these guys on a 5-hour or 6-hour long road trip, I actually think just recording their actual conversations probably be some pretty compelling TV.
Yeah. They'd say some
You
weird
would never
shit.
be able to, you would never be able to show that footage.
No, you could not air it.
No, nobody would air it. It would just be, it would sound like the radio edit of a Ludacris song. It would just be honks and whistles.
I want to try to explain what happened here. So here's the guys they need to get revenge on following them, right? Like, they don't need to look. They don't need to find the barn. They need to find the footage. They're right here, probably in this SUV. So they split up to get the SUV between them. And I think this was Colt's idea. And then their car gets lost, like on a single lane highway. There's like a little puff of dust and they can't find the SUV. So they pull over. And then Colt says, no, he's still behind you. So I guess he just stopped on the highway behind them. And so I guess the story is this SUV vanished in a puff of smoke, then reappeared the tail car, and it's just waiting out there on the highway. This doesn't make any sense to me unless, listen, that's the Ravenmacher. The Ravenmacher has taken the form of a Honda CR-V hybrid. And I'm just saying.
You can do it.
Make it make sense
without
without that.
said.
Some listeners are probably wondering if we have accidentally played the clip from episode 38, the return of the Rogue Team, when this exact thing happened beat for beat. Including the part where they decided to try to lose them in the dust of the gravel road. And by swerving back and forth to kick up dust, but they don't turn off the road they're just still going down the one road, and like they still back there, and they're like, haha, we put the old dust bowl on them. Like, you're still just going down where do you think they did you think they ran off the road from the dust? They could just slow down.
Further, the whole, when he says beat for beat, it's down to the goal. And the goal in both scenarios, just like it was back then, was to get a picture of the car that's chasing them. The one they're filming on camera right now, that you're seeing on the screen right now. They're like, we're going to set it up to get a picture of them.
In fact, this is how it plays out, because I had to stop and map this out. I had watched this 4 times to figure out what occurred. When they pull over, Colt says, let me and the camera crew go ahead. We are going to stop. I'm going to put a camera guy off into the weeds so that when it passes, we can get a clear shot. Vehicle, driver, license plates. We can see who specifically this is. So you guys are going to just now lead him past us so we can get a picture of him. So that means we need a clear photo of this thing going slowly, clear photo. So the rest of the team immediately starts trying to lose them by driving fast and kicking up as much dust as possible. They never
It's a pretty
come back.
sad plan.
They never come back to Colt's photographer. They show him getting out in the weeds to like get a good clear. They never come back to that.
No.
As far as I know, he's still there.
They definitely
it is
don't.
the exact
they don't get that
opposite
picture.
of the plan. I think the idea of wiggling your steering wheel to make some dust on the road, I think that's a stupid plan. But today, it is the exact opposite of the actual plan. It's...
But then they brag like, okay, we lost him. That wasn't... You were trying to do the opposite of that. Yeah, you were trying to catch him. You remember you were trying to catch them on film. But no, we lost him. And then they get really proud of that. And then that's the end of that bit. It's the most confusing and pointless filler they maybe have ever done. And it's in the same episode where they spent like 10 grand on firefighters. Like, I really do think they were like, okay, we got new budget. We're really excited. We got like $50,000 to spend on this episode. And they spent $47,000 on firefighters and crushing a car and a bulldozer. And we're like, I don't know what the fuck we're going to do for the rest of this episode.
Here's sample dialogue I've transcribed from the finale. This is how the action scene resolves. Buck, we've got to do something quick. Huckleberry, I've had enough of this horse blipe. They can follow us right to the gates of hell. They are not going to intimidate this damned Ames team. Buck, I've got an idea. Willie, there's an intersection up ahead. I'm going to take a left. You take a right. We'll see which one he follows. Later. Okay, he went after Willie. Well, Willie will lose him.
And he does.
End of scene.
He takes the most gentle little left in full view of the SUV. The SUV you can see them on the camera behind them. It kind of slows down, like the SUV's like, oh shit, they're going to see me in the frame. So they try to slow down, but like it didn't work. Then they stop about 20 feet from the turn and the SUV shoots right past them. Again, all they would have done to see them is just like, look, about 4 degrees to the left, they would have seen Willie sitting right there.
And they get together to congratulate each other on having successfully defeated this whatever, saying, we dusted him, brother. And then Buck, listen, I don't know who these guys are, but it's obvious somebody knows we're back in town and going to the dark forest.
If only there was some way to check.
Why do you care about being followed? If you know that they know where you're going, one, why bother follow you? They know where you're going. You're going to the frickin' dark forest. That one patch of land, they know where you're going.
It's a guy's yard.
They are filming a TV show about it.
My microphone, where I keep getting angry and then spitting because I'm shouting too loud, and I apologize.
If you're watching the video, Jason's literally just frothing like an animal right now.
I apologize if this is making for bad audio, if I'm getting too upset.
I'm sorry if this frustrates you more, Jason, but it does raise the question that have they been being followed for 18 months? Like, is this SUV following them when they like go to TJ Maxx or the post office, and they're every day they're like, God damn it, they're still not going to the dark forest. I guess we'll drive back to the dark forest. 6 hours.
I wish they'd do something Bigfoot related. It's been 12 months. It's been a year, a calendar year.
Every day.
I don't know how many times I can watch this guy jack off. Like, it's not 18 months worth, I'll tell you that. Okay,
But-
so they lose the whole pointless thing. They lose them. They get back to the dark forest, and they come back, and they are gonna search for that camera so they can search for that barn. And they start hiking out into the dark forest. And Willie pays the Ravenmocker just a little bit of lip service. He says, "Hey, Buck, would you keep looking over my shoulder in case that Ravenmocker comes back?" That's it. That counts as the appearance of Bigfoot in this episode. We still technically have to have Bigfoot in the show for like funding reasons or something. So you have to say, "Oh yeah, remember Bigfoot's out here." He does not appear. He's just pure lip service.
Willie kind of fucks it up too, because he says, "I remember where that camera was. It was in that nice maple grove." Like, the nice maple grove in the haunted dark forest,
of
Willie?
Terror. Of death, I mean. Wild Bill.
As they tried to stretch out the runtime of this episode, this is the part Brockway's about to talk about. They run into some actual poop that they did not have to put there.
Yep.
And Wild Bill
I've
says-
transcribed this conversation.
Yeah,
go ahead.
we all did.
Go ahead.
Okay, so they're talking about eating it. I only transcribed starting with Jeff. If you have something before Jeff says, they do look like jelly beans, don't
okay. Wild Bill. Whoa. I got some scat right here. Got some fresh scat. What kind is it, Bill? I'm taking a look here, man. That's fresh deer scat. Real fresh. Buck. What have they been eating, Bill? Looks like a few acorns. Far as I can tell, mostly acorns. Buck. Maybe you should taste it. Dun, dun. Horror music sting. When he says maybe you should taste it. Horror music like dun. Wild Bill. I'm good with tasting it. Would you like to have one? I'll give you one, brother. Fresh, served right up. And then after all of that, Willie says in a very serious voice, "I don't know if you've got time to be eating poop, guys."
Like dad cutting in. He's filled with regret. Like, guys, I don't know. The timetable's really tight. Maybe if you take it to go.
But Buck is here to save the day and says, "Well, if we've got deer in here, that's a food source for Bigfoot."
Of course.
Because that's why we're here, to find out if it's possible for a Sasquatch to live in the dark forest.
That's the whole point of this whole mission.
Of
He
course,
says it all
start.
smug too, like, "You dumb sons of bitches. If there's deer, you know that means Bigfoot." Like he just,
God,
shut down an atheist or something.
So that's the lip service we're paying to Bigfoot this episode, and we're not done paying lip service because they start to move on and then they freeze and they all stop and they hear something in the woods, and it's, as Buck says, singing or humming. It could be the woman in the woods. It could be, and then they decide no time for that. This supernatural ancient monster, who it's still our job. As far as we know, Table Saw still wants us to catch the woman of the woods to learn Stonish Giant and get proof of Bigfoot, like definitive proof of Bigfoot is what you're doing all of this for. And you decide, nope, ain't got no time for that. Got no time to eat poop. Got no time to fight Bigfoot. Got no time to catch a witch. We've got to get to that camera where the old barn is. So we know where the barn is.
They keep over and over doing lines saying, like they get off that gravel road, get out of their vehicles, have their meeting, and they keep saying, "Okay, it's right over here." They keep emphasizing how everything they're trying to find, it's so right close. Here next to this road. It's just right over this hill.
So they get to the Maple Grove. Willie realizes, my God, the plus-size man cage is gone. It has been a year and a half. Like, somebody cleaned that up. And suddenly lights pull up on the road and the camera swings around to show back there, 100 feet on the road. The road is right there. So they encountered potentially a Bigfoot and the ancient witch forest spirit 20 feet off the side of the road.
It's incredible.
Gotta stop doing this. It's the most unforced error. You don't have to show us the road.
It is. I keep saying that canonically in their own fiction, this whole dark forest is one 1 yard next to the road, next to a paved road. It's in their own lore that this is true.
There's something funny that Buck says here.
To you.
That, again, they're very rusty. So Buck says, they gave me that camera for a reason. We have to find it. And in that moment, I had this like surge of picturing it from their perspective, which is the worst thing you can do when you're watching Mountain Monsters, is to picture what it must be like for Table Saw. Because these guys did build the world's easiest puzzle for them, and they almost died and then left for a year and a half. And Buck's like trying to get us to think, like, look at it from their perspective, though. Like, they gave us a fucking camera, and we didn't even look. We threw it on the ground of the forest.
He's so mad at us.
Okay.
You guys didn't see him in that truck. He was so disappointed.
Tied it to me, and I lost it.
He started crying. Like, I didn't know what to do. You can see it coming out of the skull mask.
This would be a common thing. If I started up a Twitch channel where you watch me play video games, which would be something that would be a sign that financially things have gone real bad for me. Yeah. But if you saw me do that, you would find that about once every 2 hours playing a game like a role-playing game, I will get stuck on a puzzle that it turns out is not a puzzle.
Right.
It's just I didn't realize that hitting this thing opens. That's the switch to open the door. It's not a puzzle. I just didn't realize. I thought that was decoration. Like, no, that's the lever. That's not for you to figure out. That's the people making the game. If they were watching you do this, would be having a stroke. Because like, no, this is not. And I just be wandering around like banging on the walls and trying to shoot walls. Like, I mean, it was like a false wall. It's like, no, that's an elevator. The red thing, that's the button that calls the elevator. If you get close to it, a button prompt will come up that says open elevator, move. Okay, that's what's happening here. You refer to this as a puzzle. There's no puzzle.
Yeah.
He woke up in a contained space with a camera in his hand with the assumption he would open the camera and watch the video. What else would you do? You wouldn't be like, oh, he's hired me to film his daughter's birthday party. It must be around here somewhere. It's like, no, they've given you a camera, say, hey, we filmed what just occurred, watch, and then this will show you the trip from where you are to where we want you to go. There's nothing to figure out, no clues, no riddle. No cards. We have to rearrange the letters. It's in your hand, and his response is to treat it like he'd been holding a turd. It's like,
yeah, get it. Get me out of here. I have a new theory. I don't even think they hypnotized him. I think they put him in the cage, and his mind just erased itself. They're like, God damn it! Did his mind just erase itself? Wait, he's failing in ways we can't predict.
Man, I think he went into like a diabetic coma or something.
He does have that look. I referred to it as his hypnotized look, but sometimes I have a very stupid dog, and sometimes I will see my dog just standing in the middle of the room, and I'll wonder what he's doing, and then it takes me a second, and I realize he has absolutely no thoughts in his head. He's just like, I am existing here in this room. It's the same look. It's the exact same expression as him, like, just kind of high, his head a little bit high, looking around like, what is this? What's happening? Though, yeah, you're right. He just forgot. He forgot. And
forgot everything.
He attributes that to a witch's curse. And so now we're on a quest. We're on a quest to find the camera that you put down a year and a half ago when you should not have put it down. You've been wandering around, looking up game facts, trying to figure out where the button was, and realized you just missed the button.
They are literally kicking around the leaves, trying to find if this camera is still on the ground somewhere around that tree where it would have been in the dirt for the last 18 months through snow and freezes and rain, 100 rainstorms.
So they're looking for it when they're looking for it when they spot a light up on the road, and 4 rival hillbillies get out, and they get in this instant shouting match with both teams freaking out that they have found hillbillies out here with guns. Both teams of hillbillies with guns are like, oh my God, there are hillbillies with guns. That really freaks me out.
That's exactly what happens.
That's really what happens.
Literally,
They're both
parties like, oh my God, they've got guns.
Oh my God, they've got guns. Look at these fucking hillbillies. Oh, Jesus. And I would love it if this was another rogue team of Bigfoot hunters, but we soon realize, well, that's what they lead us to think. They lead us to think this might be yet another rogue team.
Get ahead of it.
We don't know. We don't know at this point. And not just a bunch of incompetent hillbillies surprising each other in the woods. It's a real tense moment with a lot of shouting. Suddenly, there's a gunshot, and Jeff goes down. And they're like, I can feel, it's like I can feel the show go, okay, but hold on. I know you think you've seen this before. that there's a gunshot. And
Jeff.
Wild Bill is even the same one. He even yells the exact same words. They shot Jeff. He's been hit. And I know you think you've seen this before. You've been burned before. But surely
What else could this be? A gunshot went off and Jeff went down. Jeff's been shot.
Jeff must have been shot. You've been burned before, but it's got to be real this time because there's no fucking way they would do that twice so close together.
No. They cut to black. That is the halfway point of the episode as it was broadcast. That is the end of part 1 that we're covering. But yeah, we just watched a man die.
Yeah. They shot him.
That's why we have to end the podcast here, because I didn't even know it was legal to film like a guy being killed on camera and broadcast it on TV. Like that's like a snuff film.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's been established if you die in Mountain Monsters, you die in real life.
Of course.
I don't think it's technically murder. Jamie, we can cut that. Normally that's fun, but has a darkness to it today. I don't know if it's a murder because I think this is more of like an act of frustration. Because if the goal was to shoot Jeff, they could have done that at any time. I think this is a bullet's way of saying, you fucking assholes, it took you 18 months to remember to come pick up the camera that we gave you. I think that's just what's happening here. I think this is just the objects around Jeff are trying to kill him out of just raw frustration.
We've already established, you see Jeff, you try to kill Jeff.
Yeah.
Like it's just that guy. That guy had no intention of doing that, but he came out there and he's like, whoa, did I just shoot that guy? I didn't even realize what I was doing. Holy shit.
Bullet didn't even come from them. It was a shot from another party that was also shooting at Jeff.
Is that Jeff?
Didn't happen to be on camera.
This is not loaded. Somebody else is shooting Jeff. Wild Bill reluctantly raises his hand in the back. Sorry. I tried to do the they shot Jeff thing, but you know it was me. All right, that was it for this first part of this double episode. So what was our favorite quote from this episode? Sean.
Okay, this is when they were being followed, and they're leaving up a dust trail. And Wild Bill says, he's a scootin'. Yeah, he's raw dogging her. Yeah, get you some of that. As he's watching this SUV go 20 miles an hour. And then Huckleberry responds, you're right in her, Buck. Stay right in her. I'm just saying that this is what my computer was screaming very loudly while my family was sleeping. Those are the words that were coming out of my office.
The sexual innuendo jar is just overflowing. We really have to donate that to a good cause or something.
Yeah.
How about you, Jason?
When Jeff is still trapped in the overturned vehicle and they've got 30 firefighters and paramedics and cops surrounding it. And as they're showing up, they're like leaning down, trying to talk to Jeff. They're asking him if he knows where he's at. And he says, I've lost a lot of blood. There's a lot of blood in here. In the background, you can hear Wild Bill faintly say to one of the cops, yeah, we've had some issues.
That's problems out here.
Been a fucked up couple years, brother.
Yeah, getting crushed by a bulldozer. Like, that's got some issues. All right, mine happens when they are first coming back to the dark forest and they hear the singing in the woods. And Buck gasps and he says, what is that? That could very well be the woman of the woods. And if she's out here, we'd better keep our eyes open. If she's out, she's the spirit. You caught her on film. She's the spirit Halloween mummy you ran away from. She's the reason you didn't want to come back to the dark woods.
You know where she is. She's next to the blood skull. Next to that wicker toilet you found.
She's still there with the blood skull, and she's going, I don't think that guy's coming back. I thought there was going to be...
Did those guys just leave?
Did they just seriously leave? That's so rude.
'cause you had to be a Bigfoot teacher. You had to open up your mouth. You had to be a Bigfoot teacher. All your friends were so knocked out. You had to have the last word last night. You know what everything's about. You had to have the white hot spotlight. You had to be a Bigfoot last night. Whoa, whoa.